right, so now that I've got the patient information input here, again, I've got first and last name, date of birth. That's really all we use here at the USA Speech and Hearing Center. I'm going to go over to my test icon on this top left. So these are 5 little keys that we use to kind of navigate different information. The patient screen just has that patient information that we were just looking at. The test is where we're going to run all of our testing. Database, I'll show you in a minute. It has all the information where you can pull it back up after the fact. Protocol gives you other types of protocols you can select to add to our main page here, which again, I'll show you in just a second. And then system is your system settings. These are pretty permanent for the most part, and we don't change a lot here, but you've got some options there as well. So the main things you're going to be using are your patient. So you'll put in your patient information, and then we're going to run to test. And so in preparation for our testing here, I can see across the top, I've got my different indicators, my different waveforms that I can label. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I've got my SSSE, which is a statistical start and a statistical end value. And so that is going to measure the confidence of the waveforms that we get. And I'll show you that once we start recording. If you're running an ECOG, you've got your SP and your AP and your baseline and those types of things. And we've got some later potentials as well. If you're running different kinds of evoked potentials or VIMs or things like that, you've got other types of waveform indicators you can label. And I've got some other things up here as well we'll get into shortly. This X means I'm going to delete a waveform, so that is gone forever if I want to delete that, and so I'll show you that also again in a minute. So you can kind of just see some of your main markers across the top. Now you'll see here that it says the Bluetooth connection has been lost. This is because I'm not connected to the preamp right now, and the preamp is not turned on, and so right now there's no Bluetooth connection. In a moment I will get that connected, and we'll see what that looks like. So I'm just going to click OK because we know that we're not connected in the moment. Over here, you're going to see your algorithm. So we have the Soap-Kalman weighted waveforms. And we also can see our notch filter settings, any masking we have, and polarity changes. You've got that information here. Typically with the threshold ABR, we're starting with an 80 dB NHL stimulus. And so if I change this to 60, every time I start a new one, it's going to automatically start at 60. Whereas here, if I switch it to 80, which is normally what we'll have, anytime I switch protocols, it's automatically going to start at 80. And then I can adjust my intensity here. A few ways we can adjust the intensity as we're running. So I can drag this and drop it where I'd like. I can also go in the box here and just erase it, type in a new number, and hit enter. Or I can hit left and right on my arrow keys, which is the way I typically prefer to do this, and it adjusts by 5 dB increments. So if I'm running a threshold ABR, I'm going to start at 80. I'll drop it to 60 if I'm doing a true threshold search. I'll drop it to 40, and so on and so forth. And so then you just make your adjustments from there. Once we're running, we're going to be able to see our EEG monitor here and how many sweeps we have, how many have been accepted versus rejected, that type of information. We'll be able to see if our electrodes are connected. Here at the bottom, they'll turn green. At the top here, top right, you're going to see the patient information. So definitely want to confirm you're on the right patient before we run, and you're going to select your protocol. So for your lab that you're going to do with me, this is for spring 2025, but your lab and your clinical comp, you're going to use the 2000 Hertz tone burst. And so we'll click that protocol, and that's the protocol that you're going to do. Again, none of these other things we're going to light up until we are connected to the preamp, and it's connected via Bluetooth. So I'll show you guys that in the next video. The other thing that it's going to let us choose right now is left and right ear, so I can just click on that icon and it will swap between them. So the next video, we're going to start running and connecting, well, connecting first, then running some waveforms.